Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this the show. Hey, don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thank to everybody that's already subscribed on all our pages across social media. Don't forget our sponsor, Doc Loves the Kids, Crime Scene Seasoning. You know it goes to a good cause, and it's delicious. You can ask my love handles. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man.
How was your 4th of July?
It was great, man. You know, what I do for the 4th of July is I buy a bunch of mammoth smoke bombs that burn for like 5 minutes, and I go by the park and I take like 6 of them and throw them in the road and obstruct traffic. I love it.
Hey, 4th of July is looked at as an Independence Day for many, you know, for the total overall country. Of course, you got Juneteenth, which is, you know, our official true Independence Day. But
Freedom Day, actually.
In the spirit
There's a difference. One is independence from another country, and one is freedom from bondage.
Yeah, let's start there. You know what I mean? Let's start.
That's exactly what it is. So it's crazy how many people don't take the day off. They're like pro-slavery. So I'm like, eh.
But in spirits of independence and freedom, I heard there's a story about.
Yeah, so Trump, he's denying knowing about Project 2025. And it's his allies' sweeping plan to transform the U.S. government. So we've already reported here on Project 2025. We did about a month ago. We tried to get it ahead of the curve so people can be aware of it. But it says Donald Trump distanced himself Friday from Project 2025, a massive proposed overhaul of the federal government drafted by longtime allies and former officials in Trump's administration. Days after the head of the think tank responsible for the program suggested there would be a second American revolution. He said, Trump says, I know nothing about Project 2025. He posted on social media website. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them. And that was his statement.
Yeah, I'm not convinced, man. I know that they have a whole outline of things that pretty much spells out that he knew about this. He's a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so I just
the thing for the Project 2025 is they didn't expect him to win the first time. Because, you know, last time before when Obama was running, he kind of got in there a little bit, then got out. Like, you see what happened? But he won, so they didn't have anything set in stone. So they were kind of just winging it. And he didn't have the people around him. So this time, this is his playbook of what they're going to do as soon as he wins or whatever. And him denying it is weird because, you know, they're saying his super PAC is running ads promoting 2025, calling it Trump's Project 2025. His top aide and former guy, John Enty, is the guy behind Project 2025. And his press secretary is starring in recurring recruitment ads for Project 2025.
Yeah. I mean,
and we have video of it. Hold on. And this is video of Trump just at the Heritage Foundation, you know, saying he needs them.
Yeah, this was during the, I think, right after the 2016 elections, after he'd won, and he's trying to get his tax cuts passed through.
Yeah, let's play the clip.
Your organization is named the Heritage Foundation because you understand that our glorious heritage is the foundation of everything we hope to achieve, which is why we need the help of the Heritage Foundation and everyone here tonight to get our tax cuts through the House, through the Senate.
See, you can't hide from the media these days.
Absolutely. I mean, he knows about this. It's really looked at as, look at his agenda overall. They've already talked about how we're overregulated. And if you really look at what the Heritage Foundation is asking for, the Supreme Court just gave him the okay for that with overturning all these different laws, the Chevron, the SEC rules, basically saying that these taking power away from all of our regulatory agencies. And now he's already talked about coming in. The Heritage Foundation has talked about coming in and replacing massive swaths of government, you know, workers with just people who they want to put in there. And then they've said that, you know what, who cares? We'll just wait for the court to rule on it. But we all know if they take it to the Supreme Court,
they're just going to side with him.
What's going to happen? We see it all.
Remember the last time he got rid of regulations, it was trains. You know what I'm saying? Like he got rid of the regulations that make it safe for trains to travel. And once he did that, we saw what started to happen. Remember in Ohio? Are we forgetting about what happened? The biggest chemical disaster in American history. The Ohio River was poisoned. Acid was raining from the sky because some bigwig was like, hey, man, can you get rid of these regulations because it's kind of hurting my pocket? We have these regulations in place. Do they help everyone? No. Does it make it hard for everybody? Yes. We should tackle that. We should talk about that. Yeah. But you just don't get rid of everything.
I mean, you look at what goes on in other countries. They have like I'll say a apartment, say if they have an earthquake and an apartment complex falls down, they might lose 10,000 people. I mean, in China, sometimes they lose 40,000 people. You know, of course, China has a lot more people than we do, but the fact of the matter is our regulations are what are in place to be able to say, hey, we expect you to have this much bracing, or this is the way these buildings need to be built in order for this building to withstand this earthquake or this tornado or whatever the case may be. People are amazed and awed by it, which I am too in a lot of sense of just different infrastructural projects that they've been able to accomplish, and how quickly they're able to accomplish them in countries like China. I mean, especially China, they can build a apartment complex in a day. You know, it looks like Legos they pretty much putting up. But at the same time, how safe is it? They building bridges that we're looking at. We're in awe of these bridges. How safe is it? They're right now running into huge problems, I think, in northern or northeastern China, where they're having massive flooding going on. We got climate change happening that's coming in, and and also man-made things as far as us fracking, all the other kind of things, drilling for oil, are bringing more earthquakes. Look at what's going on down in Texas and other places like that, where they're having more earthquakes down there. In places where they normally don't have those amount of earthquakes.
Well, Texas weather's been off too. I remember they've been having like freezing temperatures, you know what I'm saying? And that's just not normal.
It's not normal. Not normal. You look at, this is kind of off subject. I know we're getting a little bit off, but you look at what happened down in that category.
It's all
5
relative.
Earthquake.
It's all relative.
Absolutely. Not earthquake. I'm sorry. That category 5 hurricane. They said this is the earliest they've had a category 5 hurricane. It's hit Grenada.
It's hit Jamaica.
Hit all those places. Now, this is the earliest they've ever had, like by far the earliest they've ever had this heavy of a hurricane.
Yeah, usually that happens. Hurricane season, kind of like September, August.
Exactly. So it's like I said, man.
I mean, even here in Washington, we're having a heat wave right now, and it just hit July.
Yeah, if we don't want to, I feel like regulation keeps us safe. I'm not saying all regulation is good. I think there's a lot of things that we maybe do over-regulate for money purposes, money grabs that do hurt small businesses. I agree with that 110%. But our regulation is what makes it so that we're not worried about, we worry about the food we eat because we got crap food. I mean, we just do. We should have our
our food should be better regulated.
Absolutely. But there's just things we don't have to worry about as a country when it comes to our, like lead inside of our, or something, inside us, a drink that we're drinking or whatever the case may be. Other countries probably don't have to worry. I go out the country as well, and they don't have to worry about that at all because their food is way better than ours. To be real with you.
But I mean, it's just, it all comes back to the same thing. It's like, look, this stuff is in place. They want to get rid of that. And that's just a fraction of this 900-page dossier that they have that they're going to use. I mean, like, and some of the words, it's like they're about to strip children from single women. Soon, I mean, think about it. They already took away women's rights to an abortion, right? What's next? Well, maybe women shouldn't be voting.
Yep. I mean, you look at them at the same time. Like you said,
remember they didn't let women vote until what, like the 30s or something like that?
They're trying to get rid of Department of Education. They're trying to get rid of these are important things, like, so they've already, look at in Florida. They've already gotten rid of just DEI. They've gotten rid of any kind of, they call it, what's it called when they talking about, I forget.
Oh, when they say,
when they're talking about things of color.
Critical race theory.
Critical race
Black history. They recently basically just got rid of Black history because it makes people feel bad about what their ancestors did.
It's crazy but it's
crazy to go home. The grandpa's like, I love doing it.
But this is what's going to happen across the board, though. So we got to really pay attention and take this stuff very, very seriously. That's how
it should be serious, because I mean, there's one thing. I mean, we should always be progressing further as a nation. We shouldn't go back because a set of people don't like how the world is today. That's just, I mean, it's a crazy situation, and we're going to keep updating you on this because, I mean, why even deny it at this point? Because he knows it's not a popular thing.
Yeah. I mean, so at the end of the day, because he's hearing about it, everyone's talking to him about it. Everyone's like, what is this? He knows this is his greatest weakness, is his agenda. His agenda is not for all the people. But
it's not a popular agenda. Basically, only 30% of America actually agrees. Yeah, maybe a little more. 30% of America actually agrees with their policies. They don't have enough people that like it for it to pass. So they're gonna force this on us. Just like they did they're not going to let you vote on it.
It's already been passed by the Supreme Court's already given them the power. Yeah. They can just send it through. He can probably do executive orders for a lot of this stuff. And if he gets the House or the Senate, it's a wrap. It's over with.
Well, they said on the Project 2025, they already want to give him the power where he doesn't even have to go through them to pass anything. So it's basically a king.
Yeah.
A dictator or whatnot.
One of his old buddies here, Rudy Giuliani, was disbarred in New York over efforts to overturn 2020 election. At least somebody's holding him accountable over here. Former President Trump's ex-lawyer Rudy Giuliani has been stripped of his license to practice law in New York over his lies and false statements about the 2020 election and his efforts to overturn Joe Biden's victory. On Tuesday, a panel of New York appellate court judges ruled that Giuliani not only deliberately violated some of the most fundamental tenets of the legal profession, but he also actively contributed to the national strife that has followed the 2020 presidential election, for which he is entirely unrepentant. Giuliani already faces criminal charges for election interference in Arizona and Georgia. His law license remains under review in Washington, D.C. I mean, these are people who, you look at it, they said like 44 of his former like aides and like
have all been charged with stuff.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's just the whole thing is they have to wait to go after him because he's the president. But everybody else is fair game. They broke the law. And I remember Rudy, they served him on his birthday. He was making fun, you can't find me. And someone found his birthday party, and they served him. But I mean, like, dang, how the mighty have fallen. This man was the mayor of New York.
Remember he was gonna be, he was crowned like he was gonna be one of the next president.
He was he was respected in New York.
I mean, you look at it back in the, okay, remember what did Biggie say? He said, because Giuliani ain't trying to see no black man turn to John Gotti. So that's back in like 94, whatever. So that he was governor. I mean, what was he? A mayor of New York City, I believe he was, right?
Yeah.
He was mayor of New York City at the time. And so they didn't, I mean, the streets didn't like him, but the people did. After 2001, after 9/11 happened, everyone loved him. He was on TV every second of the day.
Because he cleared out the mob and stuff.
Yeah.
He took down a lot of, he did a lot of stuff. And just to watch him go crazy and believe all this stuff, he's so broke. He's been asked. Trump hasn't even paid him yet.
Trump ain't paying nobody, man.
He ain't paying nobody.
Trump like, you know what, man? You're going to have to get it out the mud with me. He's like, man, write a book or something. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get paid off the book you write. Just from being down with me, you're going to get paid off one of the books that you're able to.
Let me sign it. Let me go get back them signed shoes I gave to Fat Joe.
Another story. Florida opts out of federal grocery subsidy for 2 million low-income children, man. Florida has opted out of a federal program that nonprofits say could decrease food insecurity for low-income families during the summer, when children no longer have access to school meals. State officials decided not to participate in Sunbucks, which would have given qualifying families $120 per child for grocery expenses. It was one of 13 states to opt out of the program, all of them led by Republican governors.
Yep, Mississippi did it too.
Yeah, man.
And it's crazy. It's like, they gave my kids those cards. I was on food stamps for like 2 months really quick, switching jobs, and I worked my way off of it. But they still sent my kids to Sunbucks. You know what I'm saying? It still helps these kids eat. They get rid of those, and then they have it also adds to these programs they have in the summer. I used to work one. It's called it's a Parks and Rec thing. It's like Playground Express. The kids come down there, they play, and they get a free lunch because a lot of kids don't eat at home.
Yeah.
So this is just, you're being cruel to poor folks just to sticking it to Democrats. But also, in Florida, John DeSantis, Florida, #1 Florida man. He also just cut, he slashed $32 million from Florida arts funding over inappropriate festival. Now, to give you a rundown of this really quick, he cut $32 million from these festivals. Let me get back to it. And when he did it because one festival that receives $7,300 is the one he didn't like because he said it has sexual acts in it.
Really?
Yeah, but see, this stuff, it funds a lot of stuff. He shocked even his own party members by eviscerating his state's art budget. This is the whole budget for the state. And so I can tell you really quick what all this entails. If y'all give me a second. Yeah, he pointed out to the Tampa Fringe as an example of the annual art festival that previously received just over $7,300. So $7,300 out of $32 million. And then he said it's inappropriate for taxpayers, but this affects organizations. The affected organizations include zoos, museums, art galleries, music programs, and theaters.
These are all things that people who don't have a lot of money, this is how you kind of culture your child. We go to these different places right here, and this is the closest a lot of people can get to how you can see things that are maybe above your means, have an experience that is outside of the normal day-to-day grind of a person who lives in the inner city, or a person who maybe even lives in the country or in the rural area who may not have a lot of money. And so to me, when growing up, we used to go get summer lunches. We go down to Lane Field. This is in Ohio. We go down to Lane Field and we get summer lunches. They give us a little sack lunches. That was our lunch. We didn't have a lot of money. And so, these are important things. Florida has places like Florida, when you look at it, other Republican states, they're opting out of programs that doesn't make sense. Why would you opt out of a program that gives your kids $120 a piece to go eat? What would you do that for? What would you take
because
away
in their
from-
minds they do the thing. They'd be like, they don't think there's enough European Americans on those meals.
Oh man, it's flooded with European Americans.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you're hurting the poor, and at one point in time, we gonna stand up. You know what I'm saying? The world people need to understand America. This country don't run without us. It don't run without the people working them jobs, doing service. It don't run without the taxi drivers. It don't run without the truck drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like this is our country. This don't belong to the rich folks. This don't belong to the people making these crazy laws trying to take food out your mouth because they make groceries. They make grocery prices so high, they've tripled. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to give these kids $125 so they can eat.
Yeah, man. And it just, and you look at the power structure around the world is changing so drastically. We even got something like what's going over here in Greece. Greece new 6-day work week law takes effect, bucking the trend. For most people, working 5 days a week is plenty. How about 6? Greece enacted a new employment law this week that lays out a 6-day work week at a time when dozens of other countries are increasingly seeing positive results from experiments with 4-day work weeks. Law 5053/2023, passed by a parliament last fall, says an employee cannot work more than 8 hours on the additional workday. According to the official government gazette, the employee would be paid 40% overtime for the 6 days' wages. Workers in Greece has been sharply critical of the change, saying the last thing they need is in an era of rising cost of living expenses is to be on the hook to work an extra day. I mean, it seems like.
At least they did it slow. I mean, I used to work 7 days a week.
That's different. This is almost like they're requiring, almost open the door up requirement. Yeah.
Greece is broke though. They've been broke. Their population is dwindling. They don't have a whole bunch of tourism going there like before. Greece is broke. They've been broke for a couple years now.
Yeah, they said the examples of it is one explanation. Prime Minister Kyriakos, I can't say his last name, administration says that clearing the way to make 6 days of work week mandatory was necessary due to the twin perils of shrinking population and shortage of skilled workers, according to The Guardian, which cites statements from when the legislation was adopted last year. The government also says that setting formal rules about a 6-day work week would fight the phenomena of undeclared work and also increase the income of employees. I mean, who wants to work 6 days?
I don't want to work 5 days.
And most of Europe right now, they're dropping to a 4-day work week.
I don't want to work at all. I see this little kid make I see this little kid make millions of dollars playing with toys online. I don't want to work at all. At all. I'm like, how much does that little kid make?
Hey, there's other ways of making money right now. Nobody wants to go to work and work 6 days a week, man. That's just 5 days is plenty enough. It really feels like there's no weekends really. Our weekend's not even real.
Your weekend's not real because you got to catch up on all the stuff you're too tired to do during the week. Think about it, like, man. Think about it. We shouldn't be working more than 40 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part.
I think it probably should be 4 10s then. I figure.
That's what I used to work. I used to work
off.
I used to drive buses, so it was like I used to work 11 hours a day.
Yeah. That's a long day.
And then they still call you on your day off. Like they try to catch you before you left. Like, hey, we're going to make you work tomorrow. I'm like, you ain't making me do nothing.
That's how I look at it, man. Like, honestly, 10 hours is a long ass shift, man. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time.
You think about a 24-hour day, you pretty much, let's just say you sleep 8 hours. Most people don't, but let's just say
8 hours. An adult? Let's give people, you sleep 6.5. We'll give them 6.5.
I understand, but I'm just going to,
then you got to drive to your job.
What you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to get a good, okay, you got to drive to your job.
Go to work. You got to, you know what I'm saying, then drive home.
Then you got to still eat, nourish yourself.
Kids, talk to people, wonder. It's just,
I used to make my kids go to bed at 7 o'clock when they was young. I'm like, nope, I need these 3 hours of me time. That's crazy. I mean, like the reason, that's why we have rules and regulations here in America. Because once you take them away, your 7-year-old is going to be able to work.
Man, that's pretty much like
it always comes back to it.
I think right now with the way that this 2025, not just saying just that, but just the way they're trying to take us into like an authoritarian type of government where it's a strong man rule, and so they can do sweeping changes because this is the minority party.
Yeah.
Period, man. Like Republicans are the minority in this country. They have not won a general election like the popular vote. This is how I look at it. This might be the first popular vote they ever have an opportunity to win. And the last one too. Only because I say that it's because of Joe Biden, because he's in such disarray right now with everything that's going on with
I don't think. It could be. I mean, like I said, that fool could only speak 2 words if he wanted to. But people are looking at him. They're like, look, we can go with this guy, or we can go with this guy
who's already tried to overthrow the government, man, in front of everybody. And people, when we talk about it, it's like they downplay it. Oh, they just rioted, just like. Of
course, they want to downplay it, but think about it. What if he would have done it? They'd be like, "Oh, y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it." What?
Like I said, I was told about this. Not what would actually happen, but he's not leaving office. Wait, you see what's happening. Be careful.
Yeah.
Someone said this to me, so people knew.
Yeah.
This wasn't like just an inside job. A few people knew about this. Everybody knew. Whatever platform they were using to get the word out, whatever vehicles they were using, people knew.
But the whole thing is they should have done something. Like, it's too late now. You're right at an election. It's too late to do nothing. They look stupid.
Man. They waited too long, and they put us in a situation to where he became the nominee, and that would have been impossible. If even if you were to convict him of whatever you're going to convict him of, you still couldn't take him off the ballot.
Yeah,
because people would riot, man, over this. Period. Because
they rioted for it.
It looks like a conspiracy. If you ask me, and I'm a person who I don't even like Trump. I don't. That's just the fact of the matter. I don't. I think he's a liar. I think he lies about everything. I think whenever he's talking,
I don't like either one of them. Trump wants to take the world back to the 1940s, and that was not a good time for black folks. And then Joe Biden wants to get rid of Newport cigarettes, and he lost my vote over that. I don't like, and he's doing it sneaky too.
I'm voting for Joe. I have to.
He's doing it sneaky too. He's like, I'm gonna do it in March after I get elected again. And Kamala Harris don't care. She couldn't even tell you 3 Oakland songs. I don't want to deal with them. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, U.S. conducts first large removal flight of Chinese migrants since 2018. The United States has conducted its first large removal flight of Chinese migrants since 2018, the Biden administration said. Department of Homeland Security said Tuesday that the Chinese nationals were removed by charter flights over the weekend in cooperation with the Asian nations. We will continue to enforce our immigration laws and remove individuals without a legal basis to remain in the United States. People should not believe the lies of smugglers. Now, I mean, get rid of them all. They maybe should take all the immigrants out of America, right? Then listen, take them all out of America. And then let's see how the country runs for about 2 months, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to like it, all right? Because someone's going to have to get out there. I'm not saying this is all what immigrants do, but I'm saying someone's going to have to get out there and pick that fruit. Someone's going to have to get in the back of that chicken shack and cook that chicken, all right? Someone's going to have to come and do stuff. I'm not saying all migrants do these jobs, but mostly migrants that come to America.
They're taking jobs, man. They're not, and that sounds like a negative term, like taking jobs. I'm saying like from the perspective of they're actually like, I'll work.
I'll do this.
I'll do this. People are not like we're not stepping up. There was a while there that like right after COVID or during COVID, there people didn't want to go back to work. So they were paying people cooks and stuff, $20 an hour stuff. There's just ridiculous amounts of money. If everyone's like, I'm going to go do this. I said, what do you think is going to happen when everyone floods into being a cook? They're going to drop your prices back down. They're going to get rid of you. What they're going to do is hire somebody for cheaper and then start cutting your hours.
Yeah.
That's just to get things back in order. And so, I mean, I'm driving around. I might go to a fast food place, and who do I see back there? People who may be migrants.
Yeah, that don't speak proper English.
And I can, you can see it. And it's not just about a color thing. It's about dress, everything. Just about, I can look at a person and see you're probably from America, or I can look at a person and say you're probably from South America.
I can tell by the way they're driving, because if they're doing under the speed limit, they are not trying to get pulled over. And I'm like, why? I was driving my son. I don't mean to be racist or nothing. I'm driving my son. I pull up on this car. I'm like, man, they're going like 3 under the speed limit. I was like, I bet they're Mexican. And we pull up and
they could have been Guatemalan. They could have been anything.
South American. South American. But they're not supposed to be here illegal. That's why they're driving like that. They won't get pulled over. And I respect it. When I used to drive around without my license, when I used to drive around without my license, you know what I'm saying? I would drive due to the speed limit. Everybody knows that you ain't got no insurance, do the speed limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's factual. It's not to even say that's
no, it's facts. It's like you don't want to get pulled over.
For myself
nowadays, I have
but just we have there's been such like a huge push to kick people out of the country. I was just watching this thing about Russia, how they're having such a hard time right now with they've lost over 550,000 people in the war. And right now they've gone to a point to where they're only bringing in maybe 6. They used to bring in 3 million people like every year used to like migrate into Russia. Now it's like 600,000, and they're basically losing more of their own people than what they're gaining of other people coming into their country.
Yeah.
And they're having a hard time. They're going through a huge crisis of workers. They're having to conscript a bunch of people into the military. This is what you guys don't understand. This is what's going to end up happening. If we ever get into a large scale war, these people right here who you want to say, let's get them out of here. These can be your conscripts right here. These are the people who you can.
Yeah.
If you want to become a citizen, that's how you do it. That's just how it's always been done. You hand them things, do the work or do the things that they've accomplished. Period. Plain and simple. And I'm just not seeing us thinking about this the correct way. I think everyone's so anti. We immigrants, anti everyone else. We're not helping ourselves.
Because the media shows you, this immigrant killed this girl. This immigrant killed these two people over here. Like, people die in America every day.
Every day, B.
And it's not just immigrants killing people. You know what I'm saying? They had the one thing where the immigrant killed one lady somewhere in, like, I think it was Texas or whatever, right? And then the next day it was this guy, he killed his wife and his two kids and stuck them in oil pipes. And he was American, full-blown American, white American.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people get killed all the time. So we can't just pick these ones and just be like, okay, I mean, it's all about what the media is showing you. Yep. America needs immigrants. America is built off immigrants. Before, it was a love, peaceful place that was full of buffalo and half-naked people having a good old time. Well, those days are over. So now it's a country full of immigrants.
And it's like the people who are saying this stuff, it's like you're looking at them like you're probably one or two generations, you just don't know it. You're probably an immigrant of some sort. They just like you guys a little bit better because you blend into what this guy was like, they need to basically come into our country, do it legally and then assimilate into our country.
Now I understand the assimilation part.
Look, you see that thing?
No, I understand that though. Learn English. Learn how to read English.
That's different. Learn it.
That's what I meant. That's what I mean. I think that's what a lot of people mean when assimilate. But that's because people are nosy. I used to work at Walmart and these Filipinos used to talk and this lady used to get so mad because she was nosy and she couldn't understand what they were saying.
That's different, man. I don't care about that. If you knew German, you'd speak it. So no one cares about that. I'm talking. You're to live in this country and actually be any kind of successful. Because I mean, I look at certain people, right? There's a guy who I know. I'm not gonna, but okay, he's here. He speaks English, so he's able to start a business and employ a bunch of people who are from his country or maybe from other Central and North American countries that don't speak English, who can't make a contract with you because they don't there's no communication. There's a gap right there. You can't talk. So he's able to create a business. He was able to create a business based off of that. And so to me, you're going to have to, that part of assimilation you have to have in order to be able to even be successful. You have to read the signs. You have to be able to get a license. That's all normal stuff. If you want to have anything more than be able to walk to a job that's right there and be paid minimum wage at best to do something that they don't have to talk to you about, that's different. So that part of assimilation that's like regular shit to me. You know, they're talking about assimilate, like be like us, act like Americans do. Don't do your certain things you want to do. And in reality, we love them for that because we go eat their food. We'll go to their festivals. We'll do everything else that we'd love to do. Go places and go dance like them.
Yeah, we get to play dress up for a day.
You know,
but see, my whole thing is like this. I couldn't pass a citizenship test. Could you?
Depends on what they're asking me.
Nah, that's a lot. See, you already know. Can you pass a citizenship test?
It really depends on what they're asking.
People need to look that test up and be like, nah, I ain't passing that.
Hey, kids in school can't even pass.
No, nobody can. We live in America. We know the education system here.
It's horrible, man.
It's horrible.
Let me say, over 170 billion wiped off cryptocurrencies as market tanks on Mt. Gox Bitcoin payout fears. Cryptocurrencies plunged Friday as investors focus on payout of nearly $9 billion to users of collapsed Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox. Bitcoin's price was last lower by nearly 3% to $56,571 according to Coin Metrics earlier in the day. The world's biggest cryptocurrency has slumped as low as $53,513.55, marking its first time trading below the $55,000 mark level since February 27. So it's pretty crazy because they said that at one point in time, the entire cryptocurrency market shed more than 170 billion in a combined market capitalization in the last 24 hours, man. $170 billion, man, in one day shed off the markets. It's nuts. I think that this is, to me, crypto, man. The thing about it is I think with banks, they're starting to accept it. I think they're just trying to make the market volatile enough so that they can grab as much as they can, let the price fall as much as they can, because everyone at first, Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in America, maybe even close to being the largest bank in the world, one of those. He was like, I would never get into crypto. We were staying far away from that. Any of my people even talk about buying crypto or getting into that, I'll fire them. Now they bought billions of dollars in crypto.
Yeah, that's how rappers were when they were like, I ain't gonna get a website. I don't need no website. Website ain't street. Then they had to get one.
I think what it was they were trying to destabilize the market. He knew the market is important. They knew this. So but their banks, this is a direct affront to banks, cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it is.
Because you don't have to have, there's no physical anything. You don't need a bank for this. You can just, before
just like what's the little puffer things. When I was just puffing in here, he's yelling at me. Is a threat to cigarettes.
Yeah, like vapes.
Vapes. Yeah, threat to. And I just had a vape. I've been smoking on that thing for like 2 weeks. I'm like, damn, I ain't have to buy no cigarettes yet.
And so, I mean, this is, you got to look at this as a very, very, right now, all the big investors are buying now. I think BlackRock owns billions of dollars, maybe even trillions of dollars.
Who owns BlackRock? It's a Jewish
think,
company. Anyways, carry on, sir.
I think Larry.
And they've been buying all the homes and destabilizing the home market, so you can't afford a home. Anyways, my bad, I didn't bring that up.
But it's factual,
it's
man.
True, it's facts.
This is why these guys are doing this, because cryptocurrency has made it so that we can do things without a trace. So they're trying to get it. This is what they do everywhere they go. This is why they destabilize other countries, because they know that, okay, there's infrastructure that need to be built in these countries. How can I keep you destabilized just long enough so that I can come in here and take foothold and then take control of it? Because if I let you do it, then the money's going to go to you and your people. This is, and so I believe crypto is going to be something that's going to end up taking over.
I just don't trust crypto because I feel like they can just take it from you. But they can do that with the banks too.
They can do that with anything, pretty much. Yeah. They can freeze your assets. Look what they did to Russia, $300 billion.
Look what they did to Kanye.
They did to Ye. To say one bad thing about you, most money and most people who are wealthy, it's all like wealth based off of basically market capitalization. It's not even real money. It's not like when he's like, he's worth $20 billion. He doesn't have net worth. It's like what net worth. Yeah. Like, so if they say anything about you and your stock crashes like this, then they've lost $170 billion in one day. That could be all your wealth. You could be broke tomorrow. If they conspire against you well enough, this is how they can break you.
Now, I'd be plotting on stuff. If I had money like that, I'd have gold bars, cash, and like 3 different passports.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You have to.
I'm saying that's what you got to do in case they come for you or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure I ain't messing with it. Listen, I want to do this one really quick. U.S. man levies spying charges on Walmart's delivery drone, and he shoots it down. Let's see. The innovative drone delivery system of Walmart is facing major challenges in the United States. Gun owners in the country are shooting down packages midair, resulting in substantial losses for the company. Last month, a Walmart delivery drone was shot by a man in Florida. The American retail giant has partnered with Wing, a drone delivery startup, to deliver the package same day, but gun owners in the country are posing a major risk to the plan. According to Lake County Sheriff's Office, a Florida man, Dennis Winn, admitted to shooting down a Walmart drone with a 9mm handgun in late June. A bullet hole was discovered in the payload the drone was carrying. Witnesses identified Winn and directed deputies to the residence, the location of the incident. He was then taken into custody and charged with shooting an aircraft, a criminal mischief damage of over $1,000, and discharging a firearm in public or residential property, informed the authorities through Facebook. Dennis told authorities that he thought the drone was spying on him, so he went inside, grabbed his pistol, and fired a single shot at the drone.
I wonder what was messing with him.
I
wonder, that dude's on drugs right now. That's why he thought it was spying on him. You need to check it. Let's look at his face. If his face is all picked up and scabby, it might be something,
He's from Florida. But that's my whole thing. I always joke about that because Amazon was going to do it too, right? And I said, ooh, I can't wait. Pow!
This is crazy.
Ooh, got a flat screen.
And this is, I don't think they could. That's a huge flat screen, Stu. I wonder how they're gonna, deal with this. Honestly, you look at, they're gonna integrate all this with like Google Maps, Google, like, what's that called when you can Google,
tracking?
Yeah, when they can see you though, they actually can do real time view and camera view. They'll be able to see you do this stuff.
You ain't seeing nothing with my mask on and my camouflage. That looks like a PS5 box.
You gonna have your
Yep, cacao. Ooh,
listen, his neighbors all told on him.
Yeah, of course they did because he's quite crazy.
Yeah, they heard the gunshot go off. You know what I mean? They saw the package fall from the sky.
He probably screamed, "Stop spying on me!" Pow.
That's
hilarious.
It's going to be an issue, man. I'm not really sure how they're going to deal with this.
What's the issue? Think about it. He's just an updated porch pirate. You know what I'm saying? You got videos of hella people just stealing random packages.
That's true.
They don't even know what's in it. Ooh, a toaster.
They don't know what it is until they take it. It's like you're just taking anything off of a person's porch. It's crazy.
I like the people that have the fake packages and they put them on there, and the people steal them and they open it up and it sends out a fart smell and it shows a glitter all over the house.
I seen the dude do a bomb, man. It's like a.
Oh, the dude shit himself?
You see that?
Yeah, the neighbor picked it up and it went pow. Yeah. And homeboy's pants dropped. He's like, I pooped myself.
It's too bad. Uber and Lyft drivers secure $32.50 an hour minimum wage in Massachusetts.
Damn.
Yeah, they got a good deal going. Uber Technologies and Lyft on Thursday agreed to adopt a $32.50 hourly minimum pay standard for Massachusetts drivers and pay $175 million to settle a lawsuit by the state's attorney general alleging they improperly treated drivers as independent contractors who can legally receive lower compensation than employees. The company also agreed to give drivers paid sick leave, accident insurance, and health care stipends, and to stop funding or supporting a ballot initiative that would have asked voters in November to cement app-based drivers' status as contractors, Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell said. Uber and Lyft's separate statement said the agreement reflected the desire of most drivers to work on their own terms while receiving many of the key benefits that are legally guaranteed to employees. That's a hell of a nice little minimum wage right there.
$32.50? I'll go drive for $32.50.
Yeah, I mean, like, what the hell? They saying basically like, so if they make more than, I wonder how that's set up. I wonder if that's set up to saying like, okay, if you make over $32.50 in tips, do I still got to pay you $32.50 too?
I don't know, man. That's crazy. I mean,
I don't know.
They should be getting paid more than Door Dashers. But I mean, like, you could just be an independent dude. I mean, taxi service is crazy, man. I only use that stuff when I'm drunk in Seattle.
So I'm thinking that it's probably anywhere it goes. If you're working, you got to be paid $32.50.
I think that's what it is.
So I mean, if you make more than that, then they don't have to probably give you any money or something.
I just like when people get into jobs and they tell you, hey, this job is only going to pay you $18.50 and you might get a 50-cent raise every year. And the person says, I'll take it. Then they're in the job for 3 months and they're like, this job doesn't pay enough. They should pay me more. I'm going to take this somewhere and protest it. Nah, bitch, get a new job. You accepted the job when they told you how much it was going to be. They never told you were going to get a raise. Stop going into jobs and be like, I'm comfortable doing this, so now I'm going to complain and I want a union and all this stuff. Go find a different job.
And they did accept the job. You can't really, there's not a lot you can really complain about if you accepted the job.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I go to a restaurant, right, and I don't want to deal with my server, I want to talk straight to the cook.
I mean,
I'd rather tip the cook than the lady just grabbing a plate. I can put my order on the machine. I just hate tipping. I don't mind tipping if it's good service and I'm at a restaurant. I don't like tipping before I get something. I'll look at it and I'll be like, oh, is they asking me for a tip now? But you didn't even do nothing for me. I was like, I'll say zero. And I was like, I have cash in my pocket.
Crazy part about it is you can go to like a place, say you go to the airport, right?
Yeah.
And you walk up and you're not not serving me. You're actually just making the food back here in the back. And then you bring it out.
There was a story. A man wrote that.
He said, fast food, man.
He said, look, he's like, my friend went into the airport. He went up there, he grabbed his own sandwich, grabbed his own juice, looked around, then came to check out. And after, when he's checking out, the lady flings the thing around and says, tip. And it puts for a tip. And he says, no. And she looked him in the face and said, really? Like she was disgusted. And he was like, why am I tipping you when I just did all the work?
It's crazy. They ask for tips, man. It kind of makes you feel like, dang, if I don't tip them, then I'm wrong for not
They got the kiosk asking you for tips. What does a machine need with my money?
And because this is just because they understand Americans are used to doing something and they know it makes us feel a certain kind of way if we don't do it.
Yeah,
that's what this boils down to. That's how I see it, at least. So I'm like,
that's crazy.
But one more thing. U.S. denies Zimbabwe's claim it is militarizing Zambia. The head of U.S. Africa Command denied Thursday claims by Zimbabwean government officials that Washington is setting up a military base in neighboring Zambia and wants to move AFRICOM operations there from Germany. At an online press briefing, General Michael Langley, head of AFRICOM, rejected Zimbabwe's claims that the United States is establishing a base in neighboring Zambia. That's absolutely false, Langley said from an African Chief of Defense conference in Botswana. We have no bases in Zambia. We have no plans to put one there. He said the U.S. approach on the continent is Africa-led and U.S.-enabled. I don't really...
they must have found oil, gold, diamonds, or...
What it is we're getting driven out of every other place there. I mean,
yeah.
You know, like just right here in Nigeria.
Yeah, they said they're going to move them out.
We have a huge drone base there that this is how we like struck a lot of people, like a lot of Middle Eastern countries were able to strike from there. Like right now, they're going through a quasi Arab Spring in Africa. They're driving out all Europeans and driving out us right along with them. Western,
as they should. You've been pooping on these people for years. You could have helped build these countries, but now since they have the BRICS, they have their own funding. Your sanctions are not stopping anybody. You're not other countries like, hey, I'll help you out because they see what it is to actually help somebody instead of step on them.
Yep, that's a fact. That's a fact. If you look at it like this, they're bringing in Russia as like their de facto kind of big brother now. It used to be countries like, it wasn't even, I want to say they never brought in France. France colonized. They never brought in, England and all these other countries that came from Belgium. They all colonized and killed, raped, pillaged, and never did anything really to grow what was there. They just wanted the natural resources. But so the one country that didn't come in there was Russia. And so if you really think about it, Russia never colonized Africa at all.
Yeah.
And so this is like, it's kind of leads to the situation we're in now, where they're able to say, hey, they're because they kicked our military.
Russia was never really stable to do any of that nowhere. Think about it. They had Russia, they had the USSR, they had the Soviet Union. They had so much going on in their own country. They was like, they ain't got time.
For a long time, they used to have a czar there, which is pretty much a king. Like, that's what a czar is.
Yeah.
And they had that for a long time, I believe until like the early 1900s. And then that's when they switched over to becoming the so they were stable for a long time. They've been a strong military force. Russia could throw bodies at stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they lost the war they won the war, I should say, to Germany, it's because they damn near lost 3 or 4 times more people, and they lost millions of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just throwing bodies up against Germany. That's the only way they beat them. So they've had the stability.
Well, they beat them that way. They beat them that way, and also, like, the Germans figured that they were going to gather supplies from all the towns and cities that they took over, and the Russians were like, no, you will not. And they burned it all and then left it. And so the German soldiers starved. And it's crazy because if Hitler never went after Russia, he would have conquered the rest of the world.
He moved too fast. He moved way too fast. But and also, when you look at Russia, they also, just recently they came out with all those really old pictures of Christ and the baby Christ, Jesus, and all that kind of stuff. And they were pictures of black people.
Yeah, the Black Madonna. They have it in Europe.
For a reason, man. And for me as a person who looks into politics and things of that nature, I know this is the right thing for Africa.
Yeah.
But me as an American, I hate that our country is such a racist country, and we've had racist policies for so long that is hurting what we're doing with these other countries. We need to put people out front of people of color, blacks.
Well, America doesn't care, because America, if they want it, they'll just take it. Look at Hawaii.
It's getting harder, man. It's not the same as it used to be anymore. You're not just taking things anymore. That's why France ran out of their 3 best trap spots they had out there when they had Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, where they got France. Again, we talked about this all the time. No gold mines in France, the 4th highest gold reserves in the world. They got ran out of there because these people have gotten to the point where they've gotten stronger. These were all coups. They overthrew their the government that France was basically backing, were overthrown by coups.
Yeah.
Who were backing these coups?
Remember, America used to do that to South American countries all the time. They'd overthrow Russia, them, put the people they wanted.
I think Russia and China are starting to support this. I mean, we got the last place that we have over there that we're really we got a bunch of different places.
Well, if you think about it, Russia and China are smart about it, because they know all these countries where all these brown and black people have all the natural resources. You can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you arm them and you get them on your side, then that's going to mess up what we're trying to do up here, because we have natural resources, but we don't have winter natural resources. The UK ain't got nothing up there. I mean, you look at it, man, we took our eye off the ball. Like, while we were out fighting Middle Eastern terrorists trying to steal oil, they were making relationships in Africa and countries like that, in South America with Venezuela and other countries like that we should be making relationships with. This is why I really believe that, reparations are very important. I believe that uplifting the people of color in this country is very important, because we're a voice. We can go to countries in Africa and speak to them, in continents like Africa and speak to countries, but you got to give us, there has to be some kind of power behind that. We can't just talk and then you send in Donald Trump or a Joe Biden to make policy that's not in accordance to what we're already saying, because it's just going to be the same old rhetoric that we've done for years. Show a carrot, but hit them with the stick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I see in that. I feel like, if you look at it, what's that in Kenya right now? They're going through. That president over there is going through a major problem because they had the uprising over the tax thing we talked about.
Yes.
Over them trying to raise taxes to pay back the IMF and the World Bank. And now then he sent in troops and they killed some people. They shot live bullets and killed some people. Now they're calling for him to leave office. This is what you do during the Arab Spring. This is exactly what we did to a lot of the Middle East, a lot of northern African countries. So I think this is something that we really need to pay attention to.
Yeah, there's something because there's a lot of developments going on in Africa, and we're going to keep you updated and in tune. You know what it is. Uncommon Courtesy. We're going to see y'all next time.